Hi, I'm Steve Smith, and welcome to a Wired Family Update. Do you know anybody with ADHD? Well, many of us do. But it was back in 1902 that Sir George Still, over in Great Britain, first identified what he really called hyperkinetic impulse disorder, which today we call ADHD. Now, what did it mean? It meant kids like me could not control their behavior as well as other kids back in the 1960s. But almost 120 years later, we still really don't know what is the cause. How many kids' lives would have been different if we actually understood why ADHD is what it is still today? That's where we are today with technology and kids. Is technology responsible for the increase in depression, anxiety, self-harm, suicide ideation, and suicide? We don't know that, but consider this quote from Dr. Victoria L Dunckley, who is the author of this great book, Reset Your Child's Brain. I read it about 2 weeks ago. Excellent book. This rise in childhood psychosocial and neurodevelopmental issues has increased in lockstep with the insidious growth of electronic screen exposure in daily life. Not only are children exposed to ever-increasing amounts of screen time at home and at school, but exposure is beginning at ever younger ages. And I can tell you, with the work that I do in school, we are speaking to more and more first, second, third, and fourth grade children. Now, likely there are many stressors in today's life that contribute to this rise. However, we must ask ourselves, is unfettered access to technology, social media, and video games by teens and tweens playing a role, and maybe a significant one at that? Remember, there's always been war, poverty, violence, the death of a loved one. But this is the first generation where our kids have 7/24 access to the world and the world access to them. We need to help them manage this digital world as if it were the real world, because it is. At our doorstep is artificial intelligence, facial recognition, deep fakes, virtual reality, blockchain, and 5G. Each of these technologies will bulldoze those that haven't been paying attention to this coming storm called the next generation. As I've said in past videos and presentations, apps and websites are digital neighborhoods, but we got to think of these as if they're real neighborhoods, because they are. Your child's sphere of influence is not necessarily the kids in your real life neighborhood. It expands across cities, countries, oceans, and in places such as Hollywood that often rule the content that kids follow, and sometimes maybe even a Super Bowl halftime show. Now, let me conclude by suggesting 4 points. First, talk to your kids about the technology before ever providing something that you don't really understand, and create a contract as to the rules of technology use within your family. Have a tech-free zone. Biggest issue I ever see with parents, they let their kids take their phones everywhere at any time. Put limits on where and when your child can use those devices. The bedroom's off limits. Our most recent survey suggested that the majority of kids are online well past the hour where parents think they're sleeping. Moreover, the majority of inappropriate images are recorded where? In the child's bedroom. Control the password to the App Store. This limits a child's access to the apps, their photos, their videos, their conversations. Sometimes it looks like a calculator, sometimes they're referred to as ghost or vault apps. Use parental controls. You know, I compare today to the automobile industry. It took thousands of deaths on America's roadways and those in Europe before the automobile industry stepped forward and said, hey, we got to start making these cars safer. They put in airbags, they put in seat belts, they put in collapsible steering wheels. Well, that's where we are today with smartphones. We are now seeing parental controls such as Bark and others that can help and assist in that proactive role both inside and outside of your home. So look, we have to love and pay attention to our kids. They're only young once, but their youth is the foundation of what they're going to become. And what they become defines what our community becomes in the future. Thanks for joining us today, and please consider sharing this video with a friend or family member that you think might benefit from viewing it. For more information, go to awiredfamily.org or email us at marybeth@awiredfamily.org.